Hi, everybody. Dave Clark from InspectCheck-net. Today, I want to talk about some heating issues and specifically open returns. So I know I had a couple inspectors mention they use our reporting system and said open returns is like in a column, necessary repair, further evaluation, our red column, if you will. And, it's not that big of a deal with the open returns. I think, and then we had a conversation, and I think what they meant is that some returns are not connected, or they were removed, or, so we're not going to get into too many details about that. But basically, in a forced air system, you should have the equal amount of supply as returns. They don't necessarily have to be in the same room. You can have central located returns, especially in older homes. But really, the best way to have it, have the supply and return, is in each individual room and an adequate amount, right? So equal amount, or I think within a certain percentage. We would have the hot supply, the hot air supply, on an outside wall, and the return on an inside wall. Now, a lot of old houses, there's just the opposite, right? The heat is on the inside, and the return is on the outside. I think back in the day that the thinking was that a centrally located system, you got hotter air and got into the room quicker rather than having to go all the way to the wall. But we found that that works better because it combats some of the heat loss and then draws that warm air across the room and into the return. But that's really not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is a cold air return that's open in the basement or where the heating unit is, okay? Why is that a problem? Well, it's a problem for a lot of reasons. And I'm going to share my screen with you and show you a picture. So there is the screen share right here. And what do we have? Forced air, a brand new system, brand new ductwork. This is an old house that somebody remodeled, okay? And, when you're remodeling a house, you have the walls open, right? You hope, you think you do. So why wouldn't you run? They ran all the supply ducts that were all brand new throughout the house. Why wouldn't you run the return the same way? So just let me put it in perspective here. I'm in the basement and the heating unit is here. You can't see the whole heating unit, but you don't need to. Okay, all you really need to see is this flue pipe going straight out. Okay, so what we see, simple, here is the supply. I'll put an S there. And then here is the return. Coming in here. Now we know it's a closed system. It's continual, right? It's drawing in and it's sending the hot air. Sorry about that. Or it's got air conditioning. Sending it out that way and then returning it this way to our heating unit, right? And then the cycle continues. All right. This is the only cold air return that was in the whole place. There was nothing upstairs. It stopped right here. This chicken wire fabricated grate. So there's a few reasons why this is bad, and some of them are just, inconvenient, but some of those are dangerous. First of all, what am I doing? Well, I'm not recycling the air that's in the house. So that air is warmed already. The whole idea is that it's pulled back in, not to mention the fact that it's pulled across the room to more evenly heat that room, but it's already warm. So my furnace doesn't have to work as hard. It's already, more than room temperature by the time it comes back, or at least that, okay? In this case, I'm pulling cold air, and most basements, even in the wintertime, are around 50 degrees, give or take. So I'm pulling, and this air is going to be way, much warmer than 50. So I'm pulling that, I'm dragging that cold air from the basement and putting that into the house. So the first thing is, the most insignificant, I guess, is that the furnace is not going to be that efficient because I'm taking, cooler air in every time. The second part of the problem is, what am I taking in that basement? Is that dehumidified? It's probably not going to be a lot of humidity in the wintertime, but it could be, depending on the time of year and where that house is located, what that basement, and this basement looks like it's pretty tough. I'm also taking whatever is in that basement air, any contaminants or mold or spores or whatever it is, I'm pulling that in. All right, so now we start getting into, those are the two inconvenient things, or issues, I'd say. But the dangerous things are, the first thing is that what I'm doing now is creating a vacuum in that basement. So any other appliance, so a hot water tank or anything that vents, right, I can actually interfere with that combustion air. And not only that, I can cause those units to downdraft. So instead of using the natural chimney effect of the house, and even if there's induced fans on them, it would be better, but it still could be an issue if they're chimney vented. If they're direct vented, it's not going to have an issue. But anyway, so I'm going to take that. I can take that and put negative pressure in the basement and actually cause those appliances to spill or downdraft. And so that's not good either. All right, so you can get carbon monoxide into the basement. The other part of the problem is there's a lot of suction here. If you've ever, I know many of you have opened the bottom door when you're doing an inspection on a loop of a forced air loop furnace. There you go, and that door will actually slam right back, and there's a lot of force there, especially if those ducts are sealed properly, like they're supposed to be. It's supposed to be totally sealed. That's another thing we look for in the inspection. And so there's a lot of suction here. So lots of suction going in here, getting drawn in, lots, not just, passive air. It's actually getting drawn in hard. Well, look what's here. In this case, it's just a natural vent going out. There's no inducer on this, in this case. And even if there was, it really doesn't matter because it still could cause the same problem. So this now twofold, we're creating negative pressure in the basement, number one, and number two, we could actually be at these seams, anywhere at these seams, right? Or even where it goes into the chimney, you can't really see that, or where it comes out of the unit. We could actually be drawing carbon monoxide right into that cold air return and then right into the house. So, and that could actually be fatal. So, and we don't know what else is down here. Maybe it's a 2-family house and there's 2 furnaces, 2 hot water tanks. You don't know what's happening here. So we consider this a major defect. And I know some people may disagree with that and say, well, just close this off. Well, you really can't. You'd burn out the furnace. This needs to have new ductwork put in. So we consider that a major defect. Open returns like that, I think if they were open in another place, it would be less of a serious condition, but still something we don't want. So what I'm going to do now is show you how would we report that? And there's a couple places where we would report that in our report. We're going to go to heating, obviously, location type. In this case, I'm going to go to supplier returns. Location would be in the basement, of course, right? Type, forced hot air. We see that. And I would say that I would inspect the unit as it is. So, does it need just some cleaning? Is it nearing the end of its serviceable life? Is there any corrosion on it? How did it respond? All that stuff. And this, again, this is kind of our practice report we've been playing with. But I'm going to head right over to supply and return ducts. And I'm going to put that seal ducts and registers. And I'm going to put seal ducts should be sealed, blah, blah, blah. Work considerably harder with improperly sealed ducts. And I'm going to put there in block letters, cold air return. Basement. I'm going to put C below because we're not done. I'm going to come down here. Additional supply and return ducts could be installed 100%. Okay. And I'm going to put insufficient cold air returns. Only one central air return noted. Like after spell check. Okay. And also see below. I'm going to keep coming down. This is necessary repair. And here we go. Here's the open ducts. And again, this could be something you may disagree with us. If this automatically pops up for inspect check open, returns can be potentially dangerous if a flue pipe becomes disconnected. And we see it in this case, it was right below it. I mean, right, or other toxic fume. Keep that in mind too. Any toxic fume. Many fires start in the basement. I think it's second only to the garage, right? is in the area of the open return. It will be drawn into the furnace and be delivered by supply ducts to registers in a living space. Exposure to carbon monoxide can cause serious physical injury and death. Recommend the ducts are properly sealed. Done. I don't even need to add any more to that. What I would probably do is add the picture right here of the one I just showed you. I'm not going to do that now. I would just add that picture. And that's pretty much it. That would be it as far as I'm concerned. Mark that section complete and move on. So we basically told them what the problem is. So we're telling them that there's only one central, so it's not going to be efficient. That's what we're saying. At the best case scenario. At the worst case scenario, it could be very dangerous. So that's why we put that there. And I know some people ask, is that really a serious condition? Well, it's not necessarily. And there are people that you hear it every winter. People overcome by carbon monoxide, and it's not always what you think. It's not always a cracked heat exchanger. It could be something as simple as this. There was a case not too long ago where this exact scenario happened. The flue pipe either rotted, I can't remember, rotted or fell off, and the furnace was on, and it was taking those flue gases and driving them right into the living space. So we think that's a major defect, and you may or may not, but I'd like to hear some of your comments on some of the flue pipes and or cold air return nightmares that you have too. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. And you can also check out homeinspectortrainingonline.com for some more white papers and some other interesting trainings that are out there. And you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.